What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Filsinger Games Character Spotlight with Mike and Brock.
Mike,
I'm Brock, and we're once again joined by Jeff Manning, whoever that is.
Hello. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Fantastic.
Happy Thanksgiving weekend, everybody.
For the Americans.
Yep.
Right? We're going to continue with the special edition cards from 2099 with Massif special referee and Colossus, the Tomorrow Man.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
this is Tom quickly trying to get rid of the Gustovich set, and Colossus was one of his key pieces. So he's like, "Yeah, I need to get rid of this card and quick."
Are there any stat changes on the card?
I didn't think so.
Let me look and see.
Because it was just made.
I feel like there was one.
Yeah, there must have been some because he has a different raw rating.
I'm pretty sure there was at least one thing different. It wasn't major, but there was definitely a variance there.
I don't know if I have those cards down here still. I might have put them away.
You're fired.
Hey, I didn't think I was going to have to compare them.
I know.
I have them both, but I have to look one then the other because I don't have them both out. I have them on online.
Just have them fight each other,
Have them fight each other.
and that way you can look.
Don't worry, I got it. I got it. Got it right here. Okay, I got both.
I'm glad we're organized on our show.
Well, when we learn the topics as we're on.
This is real time, folks.
Real time. Okay, so the Cyborg Death Blow on the new card is now a +1. He still has the opponent's finisher. Everything else is the same on level 3 offense and defense, it looks like. That might be the only change.
That +1 finisher?
Yep. The 0 finisher becomes a +1 finisher, I think it's the only difference I can spot quickly here.
You can turn them around for the viewing public and see who can find the differences first.
Good luck trying to focus on that.
Yeah, that ain't gonna happen. That's a horrible idea. Why would you listen to me? I'm a special guest. I'm not even here every time.
Just to make you look like an idiot.
That's all right. Nobody knows who I am anyway.
That's true. Well, if I had my actual computer, it probably would have looked decent because it has a nicer camera. But we're probably a while away from that happening, so we'll make do.
So if anyone wants to leave a comment about what's different,
that's all I saw. That's all I could see.
If there's anything besides Cyborg Deathblow, we're interested.
It was weird today. I went to check out, the episode that dropped. There was like 5 comments, and I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
Right off the hop, people are chatting. And I also noticed our friend Grant over at Solar Promoter is now over 1,000 subscribers.
Good for him. He deserves it.
Yeah, he works hard at it.
Yep.
And he just released a new set of bootlegs.
Yes.
Which we'll talk about them at a later date, but I think,
all right.
Did you get them? I know you don't really collect bootlegs, but they're real wrestlers because they're real wrestlers. I didn't know.
Yeah, I get them.
I get them too.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the Hollywood set.
I still get stuff signed, so it'd be nice to have some of them. That's all.
Oh, yeah.
Getting things signed.
All right, is Brock still here?
I'm still here.
Another bootleg set. There's another bootleg set we're waiting on, and then we'll do our.
Here we go. This is from Grant.
Thank
Jordan
you, Grant.
Clearwater, the Golden Boy. Yes, thank you, Grant, as always. Shane Haste. Pretty Peter Avalon. An update for him.
He's so pretty.
He is. And then Zeta Zhang.
Yeah, I was excited for that one.
4 cards. Always exciting.
You just totally disregarded Mike saying you guys would cover it later, but okay.
I was just showing them off because
No,
they're new.
because
That's not covering it. Shut
we
up,
got, we,
Jeff.
we got one more set coming from a person who's wants to make his first time appearance. He actually messaged us and said, "Hey, I want to appear on the show."
Nice.
So we'll leave that as a special surprise.
Yeah.
There's 4 of us. We'll have to do pardon the interruption style, and well, actually, we need an extra one because Brock could have to give points.
Yeah, I'll give points. I could rig something up with that if we weren't using Zoom.
All right, let's talk about these cards.
Yeah, let's talk about what we came here to
We'll
talk
go to
about.
Colossus since we were already talking about him, and we just talked about him a few weeks ago. So he didn't do anything for Mr. Lost in the Shuffle, really.
Nope.
For me, he captured one Intergalaxian title, and he just did that. So what did he do for you, Jeff, since you missed that episode?
I mean, same results you guys got for the most part. He didn't do much for me. I mean, he's the first big name that's been introduced that really just fell flat. He can never get over the hump. He hasn't captured a single title for me yet. And I've tried pushing him. He's had a couple title shots and stuff, and it's just not happening.
He's got a good card too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He should do better.
he should, but he doesn't.
No, and I think the reason is because right now, Chaos is a heavyweight champ, and he's like, "I'm going to copy your finisher of a zero."
You're better off using the Cyborg Death Blow at that point.
Yep. Yeah, he's been underwhelming for me. I really was disappointed. I thought he was going to be a main eventer, and he's just not. He barely makes my bigger shows. He's usually just filler.
Yeah, I think for me, he's slowly now starting to get it. He's coming around. He's getting his big pushes, and it took him a while, but he's doing it.
You could argue he's kind of the death of the Champions of the Galaxy until the resurgence of. Am I allowed to drop spoilers? I think 20+ years is okay to drop spoilers. Until the resurgence of Pegasus, I think that there's a lull in the Champions of the Galaxy team. Like, he was about killed them off. It took Omega finding a future superstar in Pegasus to get them back relevant.
That's probably accurate.
Even Heracles was better than Colossus for me.
Yeah, I liked Heracles better because at least he had like personality.
Yeah. I think Colossus can have personality. I had him kind of like a RoboCop type of character.
Colossus is the Lance Storm of my Fed.
Hey, if we can be serious for a minute. No, he has a heart and he's got a brain and he can do things. It's just he's more robotic than he is human. Or it's actually he's like half and half, I believe.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's there, but I give him a personality, but it's just he can't do what he says he's gonna do. Maybe he should stop being the tomorrow man and he should be the today man and get something done.
Ooh, that was good. you were waiting to unleash that one.
Take that, Colossus. If I happen to make it to the time where we actually have half human, half robot people, I hope I don't die because of that statement. We'll show you, guy.
Oh, they already have record of it.
Oh man,
it's on the internet now, so they know it's in a database.
If it's on the internet, it must be true.
It's true.
Says here you're a French model, Brock.
It's true.
We.
Anyway, now, if you do compare the drawings, Bendis, he wasn't the greatest artist, but I do it's a grittier version, I think.
Yeah. I just put the other one away, but I do like this better.
I think that's a nice drawing of him.
I think this is one of the better Bendis drawings.
Yeah. It looks like he should be important.
Mm-hmm.
He's just not.
So wasn't a horrible guy. But like I said, it's tough to talk about a guy when you're just talking about him.
We just talked about him
3 weeks ago. Hey, yeah.
I didn't talk about him a couple weeks ago, but I do know that he's just a letdown. I mean, there's not much to say because I can't go through title history. I can't go through accomplishments. He's a guy that has been on my mid to lower card most of the time, but he does make it relevant enough to at least perform at my bigger events, but he's just never gotten over the hump.
Yeah, he does better against guys with at least, +3, +4 finisher.
Yeah.
But when he goes against guys with 0+1s, he's just average.
He does have the double though, the double finisher.
Yeah, but I'm talking like his win-loss ratio goes up when he takes on guys like Matador and Janus.
Mm-hmm.
Because he gets that suddenly a plus, then he's got a +1, +3, +1, +4 finisher. Instead of when he takes on Chaos, gets a +1, 0.
Yeah. You just don't want to roll the big one.
And he decreases.
Well, let's talk about that a bit too, though, because if you read the book, he can't do a lot of people's finishers too.
Yeah.
There are several people he can't mimic.
Mm-hmm.
Guess who didn't watch the show?
I'm just bringing it back up.
I don't watch it either.
By the way, in the true vein of like musical artists and whatnot, I don't like hearing myself talk.
Amen.
It's super awkward. Like, do I really sound like that?
Yes.
It's like, we can't stand you either.
I hate the sound of my own voice. Hate the look on my stupid face.
I hate everything about me. Okay, this isn't supposed to be a self-loathing type of show.
Just being honest, I don't want to see or hear myself.
So just because I wasn't here, and I know that not everybody watches every second of every episode, I want to revisit
about 10 minutes of each episode.
Thank you for the views, by the way.
Yes.
I want to revisit all the ones he can't do.
I don't think we read the list, so this is new information.
You're welcome. That's why I'm here. Yeah, there's a list. Well, you never use the books anyway.
Because you're our stat guy.
I know. So that's what I'm doing right now. So the moves he cannot mimic are Holocaust Shockwave.
Makes sense.
Has no energy source. Matter's Positive Charge. No energy source. Antimatter's Negative Charge.
Makes sense.
Cannibal's Throat Slit.
Oh.
Because Colossus doesn't have the strand, is what it says.
Oh, that's right. He had a little string.
Mesmer's Evil Eye. He can't hypnotize people. Tendron Smothering, because he doesn't have tentacles. Splatters Meat Arsenal, because obviously he doesn't have Arsenal.
Well, if it was laying there, he could use it.
I'm telling you what the book says you cannot use.
I allow him to use Arsenal because Arsenal's just something he could just grab and club somebody with.
No, Arsenal is attached to Splatter. It's his girlfriend. Bishop Hell's Hellfire, obviously not properly equipped. And Alpha Force's Ultimate Force, because he can't control the Alpha energy. So those are all the finishers. And you got to remember, at that time, that's a big portion of the Federation.
Yeah.
I just listed off a good, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9 finishers he can't do. But in all those situations, you replace it with Cyborg Deathblow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you could make an argument that in the situation where he's going against a Chaos and whatnot, he could decide to go with Cyborg Deathblow because it's stronger.
But wouldn't it make him be more humiliating to beat him with his own move?
It would, but is Colossus the type of guy that's trying to humiliate someone?
I would be if I was a robot.
I don't think he was. I think that his persona was that
he was a good guy.
Yeah, well, I think his persona was the reason he did other people's moves is because he learned from wrestling against them.
Right.
It wasn't to humiliate them. He wasn't like, I can do it better. It's because he's learning. He's artificial intelligence.
AI's taking over.
It is. I don't want to get into that conversation because I had an interesting article I read earlier, but I'm not going to talk about it right now. But anyway, I just think I think that he could make that decision. I think that he could be programmed to make that decision.
Yeah, it's up to you, promoter.
Yeah. So, I mean, maybe Chaos beats him a few times and he realizes, hey, maybe this bow of defeat isn't something I should be doing.
Mm-hmm.
Especially once he gets the +1 Cyborg Deathblow.
Exactly.
So why not?
Makes sense to me.
Maybe I should copy that 0 smothering.
Well, the smothering he can't do because he doesn't have tentacles.
No.
The tentacles are essential to that.
Yes, they are. So there's the list of them, and you got to imagine there's certain other ones he can't do, like in the future, like when Monad with his 4 arms.
Yeah.
I mean, he wouldn't be able to mimic stuff like that. You got to use some common sense when you're using Colossus.
True.
So anyway,
I'm just saying I break the rule and I allow him to use Splatter's club because it's just a club he can just pick up and use.
maybe he's above that because Splatter's Arsenal can result in a DQ.
No.
He's a good guy. He's a face. You can't tell me
he's a jam up guy.
You can't tell me in all of wrestling there's not a face that, grabs the chair from the bad guy and then throws it back out of the ring. We used to see that all the time where guys would grab belts and take them away from him and throw it out
But I'm not saying Colossus doesn't do that.
You are. If you're saying he can use Arsenal, he's literally hitting the guy with a club.
No, that's what I'm saying. Colossus, he's for me, he's one of those bad guys. He takes it to the bad guys. He's a Stone Cold Steve Austin personality. Like he does whatever it takes to win.
If you lined up all the promoters and asked who Colossus is most like, I bet you're the only one that says he's Stone Cold Steve Austin.
No. Like I said, he's got the personality of Lance Storm. I just allow him to use it because he wants to win.
You've got the perfect combination of Lance Storm and Stone Cold Steve Austin there. He's going to have a bald head with a rat tail. By the way, I never thought Lance Storm would make it big because of the rat tail. Appreciated him as a wrestler in ECW, but when he cut the rat tail off, I had to take him serious.
Yep. It wasn't until then.
No, it wasn't until then. It was like, this guy is not serious.
That rat tail was disgusting.
So we've established that Colossus is somewhere between Stone Cold Steve Austin and Lance Storm for Mike.
Yes.
That's a wide gap there, buddy.
It works.
It's a big area, kind of gray, but it works.
Like Canada. Anyway. All right. So is that all for Colossus? Because I really don't have much else. He kind of is what he is.
Over to the next card.
Mike Gustovich wasn't gone yet. He had one more special edition card here.
But wait, there's more.
Of Massif as special referee. He's got a chart on the back. Wrestler disqualification decreases by 2. Distractor rating decreases by 2. Tag teams are allowed 1 less pin save than usual. And then he has a chart here for when a wrestler rolls out of the ring or leaves. Do you want to read the chart?
I honestly can say I think I've only used this card twice.
Yeah, I didn't use it much either.
Oh, what? Hold on, I'm going to be shocked that Broc didn't use that.
A gimmick card?
It's called Lost in the Shuffle.
It's true.
The Broc Atkinson GWF.
Yep.
It's going to be a memoir out later this year.
It's going to be short.
Yeah. Every page is just going to have a wrestler profile that says Lost in the Shuffle. No, I'm like you guys. I didn't use him much. It's because of Massif and who he is. I wanted to save it for specific events.
Make it a big deal.
I wish I would have had a little more prep time to know who we were covering, and I would have looked back and seen who I used him for. I know there was a couple matches, including some title matches, I used him for, but they were few and far between.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to look at the card now myself.
It basically just kind of nerfs like outside interference and stuff like that.
And it allows matches to have more things happen because he lowers the DQ rating.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's not going to just DQ someone, just DQ him. So he
can
stand up for himself. You also got to wonder, I don't think there's anything on there, but does it mention they should make it to where you can't knock out the wrestler or something, or at least lower the possibility?
Yeah. I don't think it is on there. From the death jump chart.
Yeah, you can't knock Massif out from a death jump.
Yeah, no. I feel like you wouldn't be able to.
He hasn't been at a wrestling that long to be suddenly get a John Olerud sponge head.
Tag teams are allowed 1 less pin save than usual. I didn't hear you say that one.
Yeah.
It does have when wrestler tries a death jump, Massif prevents the wrestler from climbing to the top of the turnbuckle, which is, that's an old rule. Like, I know refs used to count when the guys would climb the turnbuckle and try to get them not to jump off of it and stuff. I think that day has passed us in the day of spot monkeys.
I think it passed us sometime around 96.
I think there's still a 10 count. You can only stand up there for 10 seconds before jumping.
Because it hurts them more if you stand there longer.
I guess. Charging up.
It does have, if you roll a 2 or a 12 on this chart, that on an odd roll, Massif gives the wrestler a volcanic drop. And can actually...
Yeah, he's just not taking it anymore. He's, laying down the law.
But nah, I mean, like you guys said, I barely used this card. I used it for a couple gimmick matches. When my Fed called for a special guest referee, I brought in the big gun, Massif.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he's a legend in my Fed. He was the first champion in my Fed after Thantos broke the Galactic Code. So, I mean, that's big for him. I don't have it brought up right now because I already shut it down because I knew Colossus didn't take anything. Massif had some other titles too, I know, but that was the biggest moment in his career because, after the Galactic Code, I had a tournament to determine who was going to be the new champion, and he won it. He's the first official champion of that age, the 2087 age.
Yeah, Massif is a one-time GWF heavyweight champ. He was the first guy to hold every title for me. And he was the first guy in the GWF to hold every title.
Well, now I got to look.
I think Lord Nexus was the second. I've only had 2 guys to run through all the titles.
I don't know if I've ever had anyone win every title. And I only have 3 titles. Let's see, Massif one time. He's just the one-time
champ. I have 3 singles and 2 tags, and Massif captured them all.
Who did he capture the tags with? Earthquake?
The Intergalaxian was Earthquake, and the GWF tag was Pulsar Prime.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, it looks like he had a 1-month ring as my interplanetary too, but he never captured the tag titles for me. So he had 1 big title, 1 mid-level title for me. Like I said, it was about the moment for me. It was the 2087 Galactic Code was just broken, and he won the title that made his name. Nobody can ever take that away from him.
Yeah, so when I do use it, and I've used them, like I said, for a couple, I think two separate matches, and they're both heavyweight matches where I don't want outsider. I'm not going to bring them back for a TV title match or a feud match.
Hey, don't be hating on the TV title. A lot of people had great careers defending that title.
Yeah, Arn Anderson's one of my favorite wrestlers, and he's
Disco Inferno.
Right around the same line as Arn Anderson, right?
Prince Iakea.
How dare you? I'm sure Alex Wright had a
he probably did.
there.
I like when they tried to market Alex Wright as a cruiserweight, but that's a whole other story.
Chris Jericho was also a cruiserweight.
He was a lot smaller than Alex Wright, though. Anyway, that's a whole other topic for another
Alex
time.
Wright was svelte.
He was tall, though. He was like 6'6".
Anyway.
Das Van de Keen.
So, are we doing the Mount Rushmore on this?
Yeah. So, because we can't really, how would you power creep Massif on a 2 and 3, 11 and 12? He volcanic drop someone.
I'm gonna power creep him and say they needed to make sure that he couldn't be knocked out as a ref.
There you go. Yep, that should be a rule. Put it on the card.
Yep.
When we get to the reimagined one, if we
add
ever
an
get there.
asterisk that says he cannot be knocked out as a referee.
I like it. I'll copy that too. We can power creep him.
For Colossus,
that change that we talked about, if he can choose not to use the opponent's finisher if the volcanic or the not the volcanic drop, the cyborg death blow is better.
It depends on how many people that would actually come into play with, though. I don't know how many people he'd be like, nah, I don't want to do that. Percentage wise.
Yeah.
I think you got to get rid of that level 2 on level 3 offense.
Yeah, I think that's what we talked about the first time through.
That can be a killer.
Yeah, but now that the sideboard death blow is a +1, give the option to just not do it.
Not do the opponent finisher.
Yeah, Jeff never got the power creep on the first time round.
Well, I still would have taken away the 2, but if you guys took that, I mean, his defense is solid. You can get rid of the extra down 3 on level 3 defense, because other than that, he'd be a monster. The fact he has 2 down 3s makes it a little bit worse.
Yeah, that's the balance of 2 comebacks, though.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to do our Mount Rushmore topic again. And Jeff picked favorite NFL running backs.
All time.
It's your favorite. So,
Not necessarily the best.
Yeah.
Just our favorites.
But your favorites.
Okay.
Since it's your topic, Jeff, who are your top 4 favorites plus 1 honorable mention who just got a little statue at the bottom of the hill?
I mean, favorites for me, I got to start off with Eric Metcalf. He was a Browns running back. Then later on played for the Falcons. He was exciting. Great kick returner too. Probably my favorite growing up. After him, I mean, obviously one of the big names at the time was Barry Sanders. Loved watching him play, even though he was on a very bad team for a very long time. Always wanted to see him succeed. After that, probably Sean Alexander. Seahawks, grew up in Kentucky. Had a lot of friends that had played against him when I was going to school down there. Only went to school down there for a year, but that's neither here nor there. But my neighbor in the dorms had played against him and actually had a clipping from a paper where he had tried to tackle him, and it was in the paper. So that'd be 3 of them. Gosh, favorite running backs. Got to come up with a 4th. I'd probably say Nick Chubb right now. I really haven't been hyped about a running back in a while. Really excited for him on the Browns. I know this year was kind of a loss, because of injury, but he was the first one I've really been behind in a while where I enjoyed watching him run.
I hope this injury doesn't set him back because I think he's going to have a big career.
Yeah, it's a shame with running backs. Their shelf life is just not there anymore. So those would probably be my 4. If you ask me any given day, it might be a different 4, but no, Eric Metcalf.
This is a tough one.
Eric Metcalf and Barry Sanders would definitely be on there. Sean Alexander was kind of a reach, but I did like watching him play. Just different style of running. And yeah, Nick Chubb has gotten me back into rooting for running backs after not really caring for a long time.
The running back isn't like it was like 10 years ago, where that was the biggest piece of your offense. Now that it's just like running back by committee, it seems.
Yeah, and that's usually the case. Then you go to these guys that they're kind of running backs, but they're more receivers. I think that a lot of that started with guys like Marshall Faulk.
I was going to put him on my list. I'm still going to.
He's great, but
so you're saying you don't have an honorable mention?
Honorable mention. Can I do 2? Can I do 2 honorable mention?
Sure.
Just because
topic.
One, because I never got to see play, was Jim Brown. I've always wanted to see him play. Obviously, stopped way before I was born, but as a Browns fan, I feel like I have to list Jim Brown just because I would love to see a running back of his caliber, especially on my team.
Right.
Secondly, I'm going to say Eric Dickerson. I always really liked Eric Dickerson. Number 1, the goggles were sweet. Number 2, he has the same birthday as me. I mean, obviously, he was born a lot before me, but I remember collecting football cards growing up and having his Rams rookie card. And I noticed I would read all the stats because I'm a stats guy. And I remember him being born on my birthday, and I was like, I'm going to root for this guy. And I had the starting lineup figure when he went to the Colts. And so I'd say Eric Dickerson was probably next in line.
Okay.
Nice.
Who do you got there, Brock?
For sheer entertainment value, I'm going to put Marshawn Lynch on there just for his off-the-field fun.
You should have some Skittles right now, just in celebration of him.
His Pac-Man Jones.
No. His Super Bowl press conference week is still one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life, where he answered every question with either the first day of media day was, "You know why I'm here," was his answer to every question. And the second day was, "I'm just here so I don't get fined," was his answer to every question. And he would have won the Super Bowl had they let him run the ball and do his job. So yeah, beast mode, put him on there. I'll also have Barry Sanders on the list. Like Jeff, I wish he was on a better team. I have Marshall Faulk on my Mount Rushmore just because he was exciting, and the stuff he was able to do he definitely changed the way the running back position was perceived and still played today, I think.
Yeah, and he was part of the great on turf. I mean,
Yeah, it's
it was
true.
exciting.
Mm-hmm. Wasn't it Kurt Warner?
Yeah, Kurt Warner, Isaac Bruce. Yeah, it was a great
Who was
team.
the other receiver?
I knew you were going to ask that because I just escaped me. Torrey Holt.
Yep.
Torrey Holt.
Mm-hmm.
So that was my first. By the way, not to sidetrack your Mount Rushmore. First time I ever did fantasy football. The very first year of it, I was like 18 years old, and this is forever in my mind. This is what addicted me to fantasy football. So I had Trent Green as my backup quarterback. He goes down. I'm thinking, oh God, I got to pick up a backup quarterback. And this is back in the day. This is before all the websites. This was pulling out a USA Today and checking the stats. This is calling in my players Sunday morning before 1 p.m. so that way I had a roster. Like literally leaving a voice or an answer machine message. So I'm looking at the USA Today and I'm like, well, the Ravens got this guy Stoney Case, or I can pick up this guy that's replacing Trent Green, some guy named Kurt Warner. Why not go with the Warner guy? I've got Isaac Bruce anyway. Dominated that
there
year.
You go.
Dominated. Won $300, which to an 18-year-old me was huge.
Yeah, there you go.
And I was like, I'm hooked. And then I played it for like 20 plus years.
That's great. My first fantasy football year, I played my quarterback wide receiver combo was Dante Culpepper, Randy Moss. So I was getting double points like crazy.
So you weren't far behind me. You're talking about maybe 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, I think that's about our age difference.
Yeah, there you go. Anyway, yeah. Sorry to interrupt your Mount Rushmore.
It's okay. It's okay.
Had to tell the greatest show on turf story.
That was such a great nickname too. Greatest show on turf.
It is.
And then my last running back for my Mount Rushmore is also a homer pick because Jeff had several. It's the bus, Jerome Bettis. And I also feel like a friend of mine, another Mike, said that he should be laying outside Ben Roethlisberger's bed every morning to kiss his ass when he gets out of bed for making that tackle to save his career, because that'd be the last thing he would be remembered for, was a fumble to cost him the AFC Championship. So
yeah, I don't remember it because obviously they came through.
Yeah, they did. And for an honorable mention, let's put Sweetness, Walter Payton, on there. Just another guy I wish I would have got to see play. Just saw highlights and stuff mainly.
Okay, I'll go with all my picks are people who I've seen play. I'm going to go with my number 1, Walter Payton.
There you go.
Remember seeing him, with the Bears. That was exciting. Sweetness. My number 2, I'm going to go with the Nigerian Nightmare, Christian Okoye.
Nice.
I was a big fan of him. That's why I dug out the old my old school. I've had this hat for like 25 years.
Now I noticed the hat, and I think you were sending me a subliminal message. You wanted me to pick this topic tonight because we did not have this topic when we sat down. I think the Chiefs hat said to me, "I better pick something football," and I just got swindled.
Good.
And my number 3 would be Barry Sanders. I remember I watched Barry all the time, and I still remember when they're like, he's going for his the rushing yards in a season. Was it 2,000 yards he's trying to get, and he needed like 21 yards, and he gets like 78 in that one rush. Not only gets it but breaks it, and I was like, oh, that was. My number 4, I'm going to go with from the San Diego Chargers, Natron Means.
Oh, there you go.
I loved, especially because that guy got more yardage after he got hit. Like, he just kept going. Now, his career only was like 4 years, but he was so exciting to watch.
And did he have the visor? He had like the dark visor that he always wore, right?
Yeah.
Him and Ricky Williams.
Yeah. And that's because Ricky was hiding his bloodshot eyes. But anyway.
Yeah, he had social anxiety disorder.
My my little statue at the bottom of Mount Rushmore, Emmitt Smith.
I was hoping somebody would bring him up.
He wasn't the fastest or the biggest, but I never saw anybody who could cut like him ever. Like Barry could cut fast, but Emmitt would cut and then just literal do like a lateral movement and keep going. Like he didn't run like Barry would do, 25 yards this way, race back another 30 this way, and he would zigzag. Barry would just go one step, hit you, one step, hit you. And that's why he was,
I think Emmitt gets somewhat a bad rap, and I know a lot of people consider him great, but I think that he gets somewhat a bad rap because number one, he was going head to head with Barry Sanders in the highlight reels.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, a lot of his stats are compiled. He was a great longevity guy.
Yeah, he did
and
have
number
a long
three,
run.
He was on a great team.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I don't think I personally appreciate Emmitt Smith for what I should, even though I saw him play, because of those factors. I feel like I was like, he's good. But then when you're watching a guy side by side, and I think that Barry Sanders highlights still stand up to today. Like,
oh yeah,
you can bring up a reel of Barry Sanders highlights. You're like, oh, that's amazing. Still, like
he made every one of our mountains.
Yeah, I've seen it 50 times, and I'm like, oh, this is amazing. Still, every time I see a Barry Sanders clip on a reel or an Instagram story or something, I stop and I watch it because I don't know which clip it is. It's just gonna be amazing.
I have guys, we talk about, football at work, and I would tell the younger guys, like my young cousin plays football and he plays semi-pro up here. And I'm like, watch Christian Okoye, like watch Natron, like watch these guys who, when they would hit the defensive lineman and just keep going, like they didn't try to avoid the tackles. They're just like, oh, I'm just going to run over you. Like Bo Jackson. I'm surprised nobody said Bo.
Yeah.
He's a better baseball player to me.
Very short tenure, and he was too op on Tecmo Bowl. I think I honestly think some hatred for Bo comes because of that, because it was like you either got the Raiders or you got beat. And it was like we did, like, literally when we played Tecmo Bowl, it's like nobody could beat the Raiders.
Mm-hmm. We had that role too.
So it almost became disdain for Bo Jackson because of that. And I thought the Pro Stars cartoon that he had with Wayne Gretzky and Michael Jordan would bring him back, but the voices were so far off, I just couldn't do it. Love the cartoon idea, but
and then you're watching and Bo when he ran over Bosworth.
Oh yeah,
and pretty much ended the Bos's career.
Yeah, the Bos was a character.
He was. He'd be a pro wrestler if he was around today.
But so we've talked about football longer than the other two cards.
It's okay.
That's right.
This is why people are here.
People tune in for us, and the cards.
Mm-hmm.
So you can add your Mount Rushmore football player, your running backs to the bottom here.
Yeah, leave a comment.
Great. Yes.
See if you agree or disagree with any of our items.
Yes.
Well, you said favorites. So there's no disagreeing.
Yep. Yeah, you can. There's no arguing your favorite.
You can list your own, and we appreciate it. I'd like to see some other inputs.
I saw your face when he mentioned the bus.
Oh, that hurt. That hurt. I mean, Bettis seems like a nice guy. Let's be honest.
You can play your favorites. The bus. Oh, my God.
I think I would have a beer with Jerome Bettis because he seems like a nice guy. I've been to his restaurant in Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
But man, watching him play, it's like the guy would have 10 yards and 3 touchdowns. I couldn't. I'm not saying. I know that's towards the end of his career. In the earlier parts of his career, he rushed for a mile. But when they got successful and they were winning Super Bowls, it's like, oh God, here comes Jerome Bettis. He's going to march on the field for 3 touchdowns. He's going to have maybe 5 yards. Like, it was awful to watch. I hated it. I was like, I can't stand it. That being said, he seems like a nice guy. I don't hate him as a person. It was just when I saw him come on the field, I'd always be like, ugh. It is the antithesis to me to like Mike Allstott. Like when I see Mike Allstott on the field, I thought it was funny. I'm like, he's gonna get a touchdown for not doing anything. Like, but Jerome Bettis, probably because he was in the AFC North, was just like, ugh, no, not again.
He started the running back by committee thing.
Yeah, well, he couldn't do anything more
Mm-mm.
at that point in his career. That point. Like I said, in his younger career, yes, he was more accomplished, more polished, but at that point, I was just, oh, here he comes in. I mean, he could have came in with freaking a sandwich hanging out of his mouth. Like that's what I pictured. I was like, oh, I got this.
I had him on my I think he was on the cover of like NFL 2006, and I had that. And that was the only NFL game I played up until I got a new one at like I think I got 2015 was the last one I bought. So I rode that bus a lot of years. I even put him on my Chicago team. I played the Bears, and then I traded to get the bus.
Didn't Chicago have a guy like him? There's Ironhead.
Yeah. What was his real name though?
Hayward, or I swear they had a guy that was like
They did.
similar to him.
Yeah, I forget his name though. All I remember is his like he had a soap commercial.
Yeah, it's Ironhead Hayward, Craig Hayward.
Yep. That's
I knew the last name, or I couldn't think of the first name. Yeah, he was on the Bears in '93. He was on the Saints before. He bounced around Falcons, Rams.
Yeah, the last big Bears running back that I can remember that I liked was, I think it was Anderson.
Neil Anderson.
Yeah.
What about when William the Refrigerator Perry, who was in WrestleMania 2, got a couple rushing touchdowns for him?
In the Super Bowl against the Patriots, I think he ran for like 3 yards and a touchdown.
He was the Jerome Bettis.
Yeah.
How dare
you.
All
right. We can wrap this up.
All right, everybody. While you're here, please give the channel a subscribe if you have not done so yet. And if you liked what you see, give us a thumbs up. While you're here, scroll on down to the description below where you'll find all our friends who make Filsinger Games related content, including the official Filsinger Games podcast Roll Up, the Filsinger Games Fancast, Uncharted Territory from the Legends team, Dizzy Dice from Lee Lomprey. Over here on YouTube, you'll find Solo Promoter from Grant, who now has over 1,000 subscribers, Dave Little's Heartland Championship Wrestling, After Further Review, and Brad Plays 81. I'm on Twitch. I can't say I stream every Sunday at 9 p.m. Champions of the Galaxy because we're kind of on hiatus due to technical difficulties, but hopefully we have that resolved soon. Yeah, that's about it. I think I covered everybody. If you'd like to add something to our description below, just let one of us know, and we'd be happy to include it for you to get the word out for your content. Yeah, so that's all I've got, everybody. Until next time.
Good night, everyone.
Later.
See ya.